Hello everybody, welcome back to the Game Feed, your one-stop show to catch up on any news from the games industry this week. And while our news drought is over, and that's not it, it's also been a pretty hectic week for video game releases. So with that said, let's jump into our releases of the week. The industry welcomes the return of college football in the video games world with the release of EA Sports College Football 25. And personally, I can't wait to bring 10 national championships to my home university, Texas A&M, because, well, I'm probably going to be waiting a really long time to see them bring one home. But, you know, life continues. Nintendo is launching Nintendo World Championship NES Edition this week with lots of exciting and extreme challenges to play from classic NES titles. The feature that excites me the most though is easily the speedrun survival mode, where you can play against other players from across the world. Very exciting. But how about the other titles? I'm very excited to give Flintlock The Siege of Dawn a spin, as the combat looks pretty dang good. And there's also Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess from Capcom, which from early reviews is looking to be a great PS2 style throwback, with many outlets praising the gameplay. There's also Dungeons of Hinterberg with one of the coolest art styles I've ever seen. I would also love to point out that all three of these titles will be launching onto Game Pass, so if you're a subscriber, why not give some of them a spin? And before we move on, a special congratulations to the Fallout TV show, which is nominated for 17 Emmys, including Outstanding Drama Series. It deserves every nom for as amazing as it was. My best wishes to the cast and crew. With that said, let's get to our headlines. A former Toys for Bob employee, Nicholas Cole, a character and illustrator artist, shared some news on Twitter, or ads, that a pitch for a potential Crash Bandicoot 5 was rejected sometime in 2021. This decision would have been made sometime before the Microsoft acquisition. I love Crash, and it's a shame we're probably gonna have to wait a while to see a new title, but the mini Crash renaissance was nice while it lasted. Toys for Bob recently went independent after the Activision Blizzard acquisition and is working on a new game with Xbox Publishing, although it is unknown if this is a new Crash Bandicoot game, a Spyro title, or a new IP entirely. One of my most anticipated upcoming games, Devolver Digital's The Plucky Squire, received a special look this week. In the trailer we see Jot, the player character, traveling through a space-themed level and meeting a brand new friend. The lighting on play here looks absolutely amazing and out of this world, and with the game still set for a 2024 release, I can't wait to play it. Mortal Kombat 1's final Year 1 DLC fighter is joining the roster next week. Takeda Takahashi makes his return from Mortal Kombat 10. This time as Kenshi's cousin, not his son. I would love to explain that, but it's probably better if we don't touch the mess that is the Mortal Kombat lore. Takeda will be sold separately or be a free download for Combat Pass owners. Next week we'll also see Farah join the game as a cameo fighter. Splitgate returns with Splitgate 2. The Portal-infused FPS, which made a splash in the summer of 2021, is getting a sequel with huge overhauls. Being built in Unreal Engine 5, the game will feature 3 factions, the Arrows, Sabras, and Meridians, all with different abilities. There's also an app that features a free comic expanding the lore of the Splitgate universe. The developers mentioned wanting to make the game they dreamed of, as the original was only made with 20 people. In a multiplayer market that's hard to break into, the original Splitgate did make its mark, so I can see the sequel being very successful. Splitgate 2 will be free to play and launch on both current and last generation consoles, along with PC, launching sometime in 2025. Our mystery Nintendo horror game from last week has revealed itself. Nintendo's Famicom Detective Club will be receiving a brand new story in game for the first time in nearly 30 years. Amio the Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club was officially announced by series creator Yoshio Sakamoto. Sakamoto stated in a video released to Nintendo's YouTube channel that while working on the remakes, which released in 2021 for the Nintendo Switch, he felt that the series deserved to continue. The game will see players taking control of an assistant private investigator as they try to solve the death of a student who was found with a paper bag with a smiling face drawn on his head. The premise here sounds really intriguing, and I can't wait to jump into the game when it launches on August 29th this year. NoMan'sSky's next update has been revealed in full. Worlds Part 1 will see an insane amount of content that makes it into the game. So, I will now read off Sean Murray's post from Twitter that summarizes the update. The ability to refresh the universe, bug hunt expeditions, new creatures, ability to rename previous discoveries, new water visuals, a combat mech, varied skies, water landings, ability to craft solar ships, atmospherics, I don't know what that means. Dynamic waves, cloud visuals, different water varieties, the Bug Queen, new biomes, and full wind simulation. It's awesome to see NoMan'sSky continue to get such deep updates after all these years, and it's a testament to Hello Games' ability to never abandon their games. I highly recommend checking out their article on the update, which goes into some insane details and shows off some crazy new tech. Link in the description below. Overwatch's newest hero has been revealed in full. Seized as the Space Ranger last year, Juno is blasting her way into Overwatch on August 20th as the newest support character. Voiced by Xanthi Wen, she is equipped with pulsar torpedoes, has the ability to glide boost, and has a hyper ring that can speed up the whole team. Her ultimate seems really awesome though, as it's an orbital ray that deals damage and heals your team. Players won't have to wait till August to play her though, as she'll be playable this weekend till July 21st in an early trial period. Very excited to give her a spin this weekend. Game Informer's cover story of the month is Dragon Age the Veilguard, and the lead writer on everything, Wesley LeBlac, has been doing a fantastic job covering the game. This week, LeBlac covered the game's companions. Game director Corny Bush said that BioWare approached the companions' designs differently this time. In a statement, she said, "As much as I adore the companions and the journeys I've been on with them in the past Dragon Age titles previously, it feels like companions are going on an adventure with me, the main character. But in Veilguard, in many ways, the companions are so fleshed out that it feels as though I'm going on a journey with them. They feel like my dear friends, and I absolutely adore them." As somebody who absolutely loves and cherishes the old companions in past Dragon Age titles, I'm intrigued by the new approach, and I hope the characters still feel as good as past titles, if not better. LeBlanc's coverage of Dragon Age the Veilguard, which is set for release sometime this year, has been fantastic, and I highly recommend going and giving some of his stories a read. I'll leave a link down to his stories in the description below. Before we go, something cool. Xbox released a new dynamic background this week for the Series X and S. The new background is inspired by the classic Xbox 360 Blades dashboard, and while it may not have those iconic noises, it looks pretty dang good in my opinion. It's much better than the other available 360 dynamic background, and I think brings it in line with the throwback background for the original Xbox that is already available on the Series X and S. I remember when the 360 had its big 2008 update that got rid of the Blades dashboard. My brother and I turned on the console and were like, what's this? It kind of upset us, but the same update also introduced avatars, so it wasn't all bad. Important to note though for the Xbox 360 that its store and marketplace will be closing on July 29th, so make sure to get those final purchases in, and it's also important to know that there's lots of sales going on for non-backwards compatible games. I'll leave a link to that list below as we say farewell to the Xbox 360, one of the greatest consoles ever made. And with that, this has been another week of the Game Ping, so remember to click that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when new episodes drop. I've been your host, Brandon Alanis. See you all soon.